So I want everyone to stand up for a second. I need you to say this next slide with your chest. Say it like you mean it. I am a badass podcaster. I can't hear you.
I'm a badass podcaster.
My teams build value.
My teams build value.
I will take massive action.
I will take massive action.
I'm a boss uncaged.
I'm a boss uncaged.
So I know you're probably thinking like, all this information, this is good stuff, bad stuff, whatever it may be. What's the case study for this, right? You can go ahead and sit down. So I'm gonna have my wife come up here for a second. I just put her on the spot. So the reason why I'm bringing her up here is I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'm going to have her give you more so the case analysis. So roughly about 4 years ago, I had an agency, and again, my agency started in early 2000, and I pretty much worked myself to death until 2018, and literally I had a stroke. At the end of 2018, which was literally a month till this month, in October is when it happened, and she looked at me and she said, well, what are you going to do now? This was before we was married. She was my girlfriend at the time. And then slowly thereafter that, I was like, well, what should I do? I'm thinking to myself, she was like, well, why don't you brand yourself the way you've been branding everyone else? Why don't you step in front of the limelight? So after she said that, I was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna marry her. And then after that, I started going on the journey to become a podcaster, right? So I'm talking to you right now, not just because of I went through the journey to become a podcaster, I'm talking to you right now because of her. In addition to that, if you look at the screen, you can kind of see generally where we are as podcasting, right? We're at the top 5% right now of podcasters globally, right? So we're ranked pretty decently, right? If you want to think about comparison, Joe Rogan is 0.001, we're 0.05. So we're in the early stages. I always say like we're the upper middle class of podcasting. We're not on Joe Rogan's level yet, but again, all the things that I'm teaching you and developing and expressing to you is that these are stages of progression to get to the next level. So I'm going to do this like a live podcast.
No, wasn't dressed for this.
So the question I'm going to ask you is, you had an opportunity to work with me with your company to create your internal podcast. I want you to kind of tell the scenario why you would need an internal podcast, how did it work, and what was the benefits of it.
Okay, so probably like many deer in headlights, you're thinking, okay, how is this beneficial for my clients, or how is this beneficial for my company? So, little backstory, I guess I'm the case study now, officially. So when, at the death of George Floyd a few years ago, our company's morale was at zero for the most part. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to open up the conversation. We did what probably a lot of companies did. We had a town hall. It was like 150 people on a Zoom call, and only 6 talked, and the other 140 plus sat there in silence with their camera off. So, okay, that wasn't beneficial at all. So we had already had a diversity and inclusion committee at the time, but we kind of branched off a little bit and did messaging and reporting. And so that was my team. Under messaging and reporting, we decided to do an internal podcast. So I work for a tech company, and number one is security in a tech company. So it's not like we can just record something, put it out on Slack, and call it a day. We had to figure out how to put some protections behind it. So we did some research, and you can password protect a podcast. There are hosting sites that do that for you, number one. But what it really did for the organization is give our teams the ability to really voice their opinion. And not only our interviews that we were doing at the time changed a little bit. The interviews we were doing at the time were employee spotlights. They would essentially say, hey, SA, I know what you do for the company. Let's just say you're the head of marketing, but who are you as a person? You know, I don't want to know about what you do as a marketer. I want to know who you are as a person. So you were born where?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. You know, what is Trinidad and Tobago? What is, you know, if you wanted to talk about religion, if you wanted to talk about politics, we let the person just be who they need to be. And it really, really improved, number one, engagement, morale, and retention. Because I'm actually, my day job is a treasurer for this tech company, and so I'm the money girl. I'm the one that's like, hey, marketing, why are you spending so much money? I don't see the return yet. But we were losing people, and therefore everyone knows in this room, hiring and training is super expensive for the most part. So we started to kind of build retention a little bit. The other side of it was when people got to tell their stories and tell who they really are outside of the coder over here or the HR girl over here, it really gave them a sense of ownership, and they felt comfortable coming up and saying, hey, I have an idea for this product, or I have an idea for this product. And that affects the top line for the finance folks. That affects the top line, that affects our revenue. We're branching off a little bit in that where we are now taking the snippets of those podcasts and we're thinking about putting them externally. So on LinkedIn, and just to talk about, hey, as a company, we love our people are our greatest assets. Here's a snippet of our employee spotlight from X time frame. Just little small portions, nothing too personal, because we really don't want to put a lot of things out there externally just yet. We're not the American Airlines Trader Joe's level yet, but internally, people are excited. They're like, ooh, when can I get on the episode? When can I get on the episode? And I'm like, soon. Here's a sign up. So I think it's been beneficial for the most part. I look at the numbers. Like I said, our retention is in a very great place. Our employees are excited, they're staying. We're using it as a recruiting tool, actually, to say, hey, we have a podcast internally. You could be on it if you come and work here. So,
Cool.
can I go now?
Yes, you can go now. I think, obviously, you see why I married her, right? Kind of going without saying. So we got a few minutes left. I think she answered one of the general questions about security that we usually get. So she answered that. Is there any other general questions? Yes.
Do you think podcasting should stay as an audio platform, or do you think with everybody trying to go, especially like with the Joe Rogan movement, moving into video?
I think video is a necessity. So podcasting, if you look at it from a scale, like a funnel, video should be primary. But keep in mind, there's two different demographics, right? You have demographics that are maybe running and jogging, riding in their car, they can't watch anything, hence why podcasting works well in that space. But on the other spectrum, you have people that are very engaged on the visual side. So starting with the video first and subtracting the audio from that video, you have an abundance of content. I mean, there's so much different elements that you can create from that. So I would say, yes, if you're going to do a podcast, it's not an audio only thing. And again, if you can't afford to do video, you can start with your cell phones. You don't have to start with major equipment. You can start with low-end equipment primarily. And if you don't want to be in front of the camera, then yes, you can do audio. But I guarantee you within 6 months to 12 months, much like when I started my first podcast, I started it only audio. But I knew enough after 6 months to start recording the video content, and then I started using that video content now. So in the first year I didn't use it, but now we monetize a YouTube channel and all this other stuff, all those original videos are now coming into play. Great question.